சிறப்புரையை நல்கிய ஸ்ரீமத் சுவாமி ஆத்மஞானானந்தஜி மகராஜ் அவர்களுக்கு எமது மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். அடுத்து பவள விழா தொடக்க உரையை இந்தியா பெங்களூர் ராமகிருஷ்ண மடத்தைச் சேர்ந்த ஸ்ரீமத் சுவாமி கீர்த்திதானந்தஜி மகராஜ் அவர்கள் நிகழ்த்துவார்கள். தொடக்க உரையை நிகழ்த்துமாறு சுவாமிஜி அவர்களை பணிவன்புடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்.
Now, Srimad Swamiji Kirtitanandaji Maharaj will deliver the inaugural address.
Atmaghananandaji, Virupakshanandaji, brother monks, sister nuns, Mrs. Nirupama Rao, Justice Vigneshwaran, devotees and friends, distinguished visitors, and my dear children. 1980, courtesy late Swami Prematmanandaji Maharaj, who was in charge of this institution at that time, I had the proud privilege of attending the Golden Jubilee celebration, the 50th anniversary of this institution. Today, 2005, thanks to the kind invitation from Atmaghananandaji, I am here again to attend and participate in the 75th anniversary of this institution, the Platinum Jubilee, and also have the honor of inaugurating it. Both my visits were unexpected. Now, I join Atmaghananandaji in looking forward to see the completion of 100 years of this institution. It is in the best traditions of India. Indian custom, as you are all well aware, blesses children, even grown-up people, to live for 100 years. Shatayur Vaibhava, that is the blessing conferred on all children. Also there is a wish, Jivema Sharada Shatam, may we live for 100 years. Jijivishet Shatas Samaha, all our scriptures say we should live for 100 years. This is with regard to men and women. The same blessing can be found conferred on the institution too, but with a wide difference. When we pray for the completion of 100 years in the case of human beings, we already know they are at the fag end of their life. They are in the twilight years of their life. Their energies are well spent or ill spent, and they are looking forward only to the final end. Vayuranidam bhasmyam tam shariram, as the Ishavasya Upanishad says. In a few days' time, they will be thrown into flames and they will be a mere bundle of ashes. But in the case of the institutions like this, as each year passes, it shines in more and more glory. So when it reaches the 100 years, it will be at the pinnacle of glory, and it doesn't end there. Many more 100 years may come, and with each year passing, the glory of the institution will shine better and better. It will never fade away, because the spirit of great people like Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda are behind that. As I said, when I left the shores of Ceylon in 1957, I had never thought that I will be coming again, never dreamed in my life. Nor when I left the shores again in 1980 after attending the Golden Jubilee, I had thought that I will be coming again. You may say, Swamiji, do you expect the same thing again? You will come again to attend the centenary celebrations? No, I am already 81. As Ramakrishna has already told, I won't be here, or even if I am not here, I won't be in a position to attend. But he also expressed doubts. Many of you present here may not be there, but many will be there at that time, and you will see the grandeur of this institution. You will be fortunate to see the grandeur of this institution at that time, and I wish you all the best at that. 1952 to 57, I was here, Swamiji already told you. Those 5 years were really halcyon days here. Calm, peace, and tranquility prevailed everywhere. Each one was engaged in his own avocation without interfering with the affairs of others. There was no sign of the storm that was to hit the shores of Ceylon, or Sri Lanka, as it is called now. The political upheavals, the struggles for power, the ethnic conflicts, the huge exodus, and what have you, and also huge loss of life and property and what have you. But as we are celebrating this Platinum Jubilee here, I am glad to note that the storm is blowing over, if it has not already blown over, and again the old peaceful days are returning. May this celebration of the Platinum Jubilee usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for this island nation. And Ramakrishna Mission is there to provide all succor and help in this direction. That is the very purpose of this institution here or anywhere in the world, to bring about amity and harmony amongst all sections of the people living in a nation. That was the message of Swami Vivekananda. That was the message of Sri Ramakrishna. The very motto that he has given to us, Atmano Mokshastham Jagaditaya Cha. Your own welfare, through working for welfare of the entire humanity. Or as he was very fond of quoting the Buddhist scripture, Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya. For the welfare of the many, for the happiness of the many. That has been the ancient Indian ideal. It has been revived in our own times by Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. His very address at the Parliament of Religions is breathing with this idea. His final address at the Parliament of Religions, I hope most of you will remember, he said, if this Parliament of Religions at Chicago has proved anything to this world, it is this: purity, holiness, and charity are not the exclusive possessions of any church, and every system has produced men of exalted character. In the face of this evidence, he said, if anybody dreams in the exclusive survival of his own religion and the destruction of all others, I pity him from the bottom of my heart, and said, note these words, upon the banner of every religion, he said, will soon be written, help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. These are his words, harmony and peace. All over the world, he said, these words will be written on the banner of every religion. So in Ceylon also, we pray that harmony and peace may remain amongst the citizens belonging to various religions. Another remark he made in an address he gave at the Parliament of Religions is very significant to Ceylon. Ceylon has two major religions, Buddhism and Hinduism, or one sect of Hinduism, let us say. In his lecture at the Parliament of Religions, titled Buddhism, the Fulfillment of the Hindu Religion, he had said, Buddhism is the fulfillment of Hindu religion. It is a logical conclusion, logical development of the Hindu religious ideas. This is an important thing for people living in Ceylon. These two religions have to live in peace. And of course, there are also other religions like Christianity and Mohammedanism. For them also he had given a message. A Hindu is not to become a Buddhist or a Christian or Mohammedan, or a Mohammedan has not to become a Buddhist or a Christian, but each will imbibe the spirit of the other religions, but grow according to his own line of growth without disturbing anybody else. So this is the message he had given at the Parliament of Religions, and it applies particularly to Ceylon in the present juncture. And I hope and pray that day may soon dawn here, where all will live in peace and work for the material and spiritual benefit of Ceylon. Material benefit also is required, as our Vedic sayers have already said, Abhyudaya Nishreyasa. The material benefit and spiritual benefit go hand in hand, and let those days come in. As my mind goes down the memory lane, I miss many old faces. In fact, most of the old faces are not to be seen here. The one that comes uppermost into my mind is Navaratnam, the architect and engineer too, who executed the project of the Kadargama Matam. He was a force behind every Swami in charge here. And then the doyen of devotees, D.A. Kumar Swami, with whom I had also intimate contact. And another doyen of devotee, Mr. Wakwala. And then Dr. Rajadhara Ratnam and his brother Kumar Ratnam. And then Kanaka Sabhapati, two Kanaka Sabhapatis, one with the hat as we used to call him, and another working in the police department. Two Dakshinamurtis, one a collector of candy, and another was an auditor who used to help in our accounts. And Dr. Vignaraja, who was our secretary, Mr. Modi, who has built up that library building, and many more others. They have all contributed to the growth of this institution in their own humble way, big or small, and I pay my homage to their sweet memory. And then amongst the Swamis, only 3 of us are surviving of that generation. Swami Kirtitanandaji, who even in spite of his advanced age, is doing wonderful work in Batikolo. Swami Avyananji, who is ailing at our Belur Mutt, Arogya Bhavan, and myself. The others came later on, and I recall with reverence Swami Asanganandaji, who was in charge of this institution when I came here. Then his predecessor, Siddharthanandaji, who was mainly instrumental in my coming over to Ceylon, and his successor, Swami Prematmanandaji, who was also there when I was here as in charge, Swami Natarajanandaji, Swami Kutasthananji, who were managers of the Batikolo schools. We had 26 schools at that time, but they were all nationalized after I had left this place. Now we are left only with the orphanages there. So there used to be a manager of the schools. So I recall all of them. And also Swami Vipalananji, who was mainly responsible for many institutions to come in Ceylon, whom I had no occasion to see, but of whom I used to hear a lot in Mayavati and other places too. He was editor of Prabhupada Bharata. To all of them, to the sweet memory of all of them, I pay my respects. Their spirit is still working here as I go around the institution after 50 years. I can feel it. And some incidents I may just refer. Many incidents are etched in my memory here, but out of that I will just mention 3. The day I arrived here, the first Prime Minister of Ceylon, he had just passed away. His body was lying in state. As I was coming from the station to the ashrama, a long line of people had assembled to pay their respects. That scene is just fresh in my memory. Then, afterwards, the inauguration of the Katragama Madam by his son, who succeeded him as Prime Minister, Dudley Senanayake. It was inaugurated by him. When I came, the work was going on. All credit to Navaratnam, who used to work day in and night. He was the registrar of the High Court. He used to work day in and night to bring up that Katragama Madam. Within 8 months, he brought it up. It was a real miracle indeed. He didn't worry about his personal comforts, the amount he had to spend by using his own car, and he brought it up. And then, of course, I had no occasion to go for the inauguration, but I have gone there many times, particularly during the Ishala festival, lakhs and lakhs of people assembling there. Only I am sorry that our Madam, which had been doing wonderful work, feeding every day 500 people or so, and during the Ishala festival, lakhs and lakhs being fed. That has been taken over by the government. On this occasion, when we are celebrating the Platinum Jubilee celebration, I wish it comes back to us so that we can continue the good work that we had been doing at that time. The next important event, many more important events are there. The next one I would like to mention here and close my speech. That is my visit to Jaffna and my meeting with the famous Yoga Swami. He was considered a realized soul even at that time, and many of our Swamis who have joined the order have been influenced by him, including Swami Prematmanandaji. And that was the year when we were celebrating the centenary of Sharada Devi's birthday here. Meetings were organized all over Ceylon, and we had gone to Jaffna. Yatiswaranji was coming there from Bangalore. I had left Bangalore just the previous year after he had taken charge. Chidbhavanji was coming. So we went from here by our van. We reached there in the evening, and the first thing we thought of doing was to pay our respects to Yoga Swami. Of course, I was under the impression that he was already 80, but the Swami Atmaghanandaji, he corrects me, no, he could not have been that much of age. Anyway, whatever it is, he would have been above 60 or 70. So, here he was bare-bodied, but a strongly built body, with only a towel over his loins. He was talking to some devotees, and I recall that evening meeting. As soon as he went to pay his respects, I was just a brahmachari, a young boy of 26 or 27 at that time. Somehow, his eyes fell on me. He was talking with other devotees. He greeted me with the words, "The subject is very large, the time is short." As those of you who are acquainted with Swamiji's lectures and works will recall, these were the words with which Swami Vivekananda started his speech at Jaffna. He had earlier landed in Colombo and already delivered 2 speeches. One of them is recorded. And afterwards, the third speech he gave was in Jaffna. Swami, Yoga Swami, then he related. He was addressing the others also, but I felt he was particularly addressing me because I am a great devotee of Swami Vivekananda. He must have felt I had never met him, I didn't know him, he didn't know me. But he must have divined a young boy interested in Swami Vivekananda. He quoted this, "Subject is very large, the time is short." And then he related to me how that meeting took place. He himself was a young boy of 17 or 18, a college student. As he described, I will relate to you, though 50 years have passed, I remember the exact words. 4,000 people also had gathered there in the Hindu college. There was much noise, jostling amongst the people to have a glimpse of Swamiji. He was on the platform, and terrible noise. There was no mic. Yoga Swami told me, Swami Vivekananda, how to make the people keep quiet. They're all talking. He told me, Swami Vivekananda, he waited for 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Then a gigantic figure, he seems with his fist, he beat his heart. And immediately there was absolute silence at the meeting. And then he began his speech. The subject is large, very large. The time is short. Those are the very first words of that lecture. And it was Yoga Swami who first told me that Swami Vivekananda always used to move about on the platform and speak. Later on, of course, it was confirmed in that book by Mrs. Louis Burke, Gargi, New Discoveries of Swamiji in the West. There she also describes it. But at that time, that book was not out. Anyway, the subject is very large. The time is short, Swami Vivekananda said. What was the subject he dealt with? That is the point I want to, it is relevant. I will just mention it and stop my speech. The subject was, of course, the salient features of Hinduism. He had already given a lecture in Colombo where he had dealt with certain aspects of Hinduism. And in Jaffna lecture also, he referred to some aspects of Hinduism. He was giving us the salient features of Hinduism. But what is of relevance and importance to us is, he was also in the process giving us a clue how to approach all religions, how every person belonging to any religion should approach his religion. Swami Vivekananda says how Hinduism, that is his special interpretation, it is not the orthodox interpretation, how Hinduism makes a distinction between Shruti and Smriti, the essential parts of religion and the non-essential parts of religion. Swami Vivekananda used to say, Ramakrishna used to tell, my master used to tell, these various labels like Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Mohammedanism, they act as bars to brotherly feelings. True. But why is it so? Because we don't appreciate every religion has got these two aspects. One, the essentials, and the other, non-essential, that is also essential for the votary of that religion, but not to others. This distinction, if we keep in mind, if every religionist, when he studies his religion, if he keeps this mind in his religion, there is an essential part which can be studied and practiced by every other religionist also. There are essential elements in Christianity which a Hindu can practice, like the Sermon on the Mount. A Buddhist can practice, a Mohammedan can practice. So also in Mohammedanism, there are aspects of religion, the very life of Muhammad, his austerity, the life he lived, can be followed by anybody. Or in Buddhism, the Buddha's Tripitakas, the greatness of Buddha, we can imitate the Buddha's ways. Tathagata, it is said. The way he has shown us, we can follow in those footsteps. But there are other aspects of religion, non-essential to others, but essential to the votaries of those religion. It is applicable only, like the spiritual practices, various spiritual practices, the external symbols of religion, whether you should put a vibhuti or namam, the food that you have to take, the scriptures that you have to abide by, the code of conduct that you have to follow, they are applicable only to the people who are born Christians or born Hindus or born Buddhists or born monks. But the essential part, like the Sermon on the Mount or the Tripitakas, everyone can follow. And if we remember this aspect of religion, that is how he deals with Hinduism in that lecture at Jaffna as well as in Colombo lecture, and also in his Colombo to Almora lectures further. This distinction we must remember. Every religion has got these two aspects, one applicable only to the votaries of that religion, another which can be followed by anyone else also. If we remember this, that's why we study Christianity with the same reverence. We study Mohammedanism with the same reverence. We study the life of Muhammad, we study the life of Christ, we study the life of Buddha with the same reverence as the person belonging to that religion does. We have no conflict. There will be no conflict at all. And this is what is required today, and that is the only thing which will bring harmony amongst all religions, all sects, all castes. There will be no distinction between caste or religion or race or community. And may this Platinum Jubilee celebration, which is being conducted by the Ramakrishna Mission, usher in that era of peace and prosperity here as elsewhere. Thank you very much.